Hey, wake up! It's time to start the show. Glad to see you all aboard Mouse Ears in Paradise. Let's get this show rolling.
Welcome to Mouse Ears in Paradise. I am Dave.
And I'm Becky.
And welcome to this week's episode where we'll be talking a little bit about preparing for the holidays. And we have a listener email. It's not an email, but close enough. We'll just...
A listener comment.
A listener, yeah.
Question. Listener comment.
Start off with talking about, the holidays are fast approaching, and sometimes, you want to have a little bit of magic at home. Not everybody gets to go to the parks during the holidays, or maybe not go to the parks as much as they want during the holidays, even if they can go. So how do you bring a bit of the park and Disney magic to your home?
Yeah. I mean, the first obvious way is decorations, right? There's a lot of great decorations out there, things that you can buy, but also things that you can make. So I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about what some of our decorations are that we have out.
Sure.
I will say, generally speaking, our family does make this a religious holiday first, but we do think Disney's fun, and so we like to have that be in there. So our tree topper is actually a Mickey Mouse head, which is kind of fun. It's an ornament. It's a green, retro 50s style.
Yeah,
tree topper.
Obviously Mickey, but it's not literally a Mickey face.
Correct. It's not
all hail Mickey Mouse.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm saying. And we do have a fair amount of Christmas ornaments that are Disney based.
We haven't been great about it, but we've tried to pick up an ornament almost every year. Probably every other year in reality.
Yeah. Well, part of the issue is it's become I feel like you can get them online a lot cheaper than you get them for in the park. So it seems silly to pay double the price just to have purchased it from the park when you can get it online and get the, exact same thing. It just feels like foolishness. So I guess maybe that's a tip, is check out the DisneyStore.com. They are already running some Christmas specials and things. I've thought about doing pillows. I've seriously considered upgrade. They have some cute ones out, and making your own is obviously an option as well.
Yeah, getting some fabric at the store or something, or some sort of Cricut combination.
I know,
out there, right? Like some iron-on or what. There's a lot of options there. And going with the Disney Store at the end of the season to getting for next year, we've done that before. We've bought some stuff when they're just clearancing it out 65, 75% off. And
I know.
You can still find some gems in there and buy them and put them in the box for next season.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to have our house back to quote unquote normal this year for
Not under
Christmas.
Construction.
No longer under construction. I have very big dreams of trying to decorate the patio. I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
If I was going to actually follow through. Is that what you were wondering?
I didn't know if this year was going to be the year. And I think the way we've ended up laying out the patio has been a bit different than we originally envisioned. So the spot that I think you were going to put it in isn't really a spot
now
anymore.
Occupied. Occupado. Yeah.
And that's okay.
It is okay. But I would love to do garland with red, Mickey heads or something to hold up the garland. That's on my maybe someday I'll be able to pull this together kind of thing. So,
and it's probably also on the more simple side is baking some cookies that are maybe Mickey shaped, or others that you can get cookie cutters that are Disney fun and shaped. From Disney and elsewhere, and make some cookies and decorate them and use that. Some people even will get really crazy with the decorating cookies and make them almost like an art piece for the season, that'll get thrown away at the end of the season. They're not going to eat it, but do that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, we our kids like associate Christmas cookies with Mickey heads, which is kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
Like normally we do have some stars and stockings and things like that,
too,
and sea creatures, because when we think of the holidays, we think of the beach and we think of going to Disney. So I thought that was kind of funny. So D23, I did not realize this until we started talking about doing this show, but D23 actually has a recipe section, collection online. Did you know this?
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. So they actually have some great stuff that I think would be really fun to kind of, because I find like during Thanksgiving and during Christmas, I just have, it's going to sound silly, but I do have more time at home. Not necessarily in the weeks, but during those little breaks that I think we could make fun. So they have like Bob Parr's waffle recipe that our family would definitely get behind and doing. So maybe we'll report back on that one. But there's a lot of recipes on there that if you were looking to bring the parks into your week life, would be a great option. So I would recommend checking them out. It's d23.com/Disney-recipes-collection. So that's where you're going to go find that.
Okay,
and
cool.
You can always just go to d23.com and search that as well. There's always been a lot of fan-based recipes out there where people, I mean, you used to be able to go and get recipe cards and
right.
The cookbooks are out there. They have a lot of that on there, but this is kind of fun because it has it divided up by courses, which is kind of nice. And so it's easy to scan through and easy to look at, and it costs you no money. All you have to do is like purchase the ingredients.
Right.
So I like that idea. It'd be a fun thing to do. You could have, everybody in your family pick something out and make that during the season. It'd be a fun Friday night activity. So that's my suggestion.
Yeah,
and
I mean, you can even some construction paper and some printer, maybe even, and you can make some ornaments to put on your tree.
We've done
all
that.
Kinds of simple things that you can do. Bring it home.
Yeah. So how about our favorite holiday movies? Because I feel like that's something we've always made a point of doing, is watching certain movies during the holiday season. So we're in November. Thanksgiving is officially over, or Halloween is officially over. And so now we can move into some of those holiday movies. I, of course, love The Muppets Christmas Carol. That's one of my favorites. So we always try to get one of the kids to watch that with us. And then, you can go through all the iterations of A Christmas Carol, but the Mickey Mouse one is also a classic.
Definitely a classic.
Yeah.
I'd say the Prep and Landing series.
Yes.
I love those, and the kids love those too. They're fun.
I know.
I never get tired of watching them. They have good little, humor and subtle humor and stuff in there, and it's the kids it's still got a lot of heart to it, and the kids seem to enjoy it. It's got a good pace and colors and movement, action type of stuff. So.
Mickey's Once and Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas. I always those are pretty good little shorts. The kids are outgrowing them a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like we're moving more into the Home Alone era,
at least for the older.
in some ways.
On the older two, at least.
But, there are a lot of great options for that. The shorts, I feel like, are where it's at. There's just so many holiday, like Toy Story has one, right? Hawaiian Holiday. Right. That's really classic. So I like that because you can keep short attentions going.
Or if you're just have a small window, or you're trying to do something, that's not going to consume the whole night.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some good options in there.
For sure.
All right. So next we wanted to share a question that we received through the interwebs, and it comes from Sean, and he said, just booked the Honua Kai in February. Gonna listen to the pod again, but would love any advice you can think of. We're all adults.
Awesome.
So when he says we're all adults, I'm going to assume that this isn't just a two-person romantic getaway. I'm going to assume there's
multiple people going.
Probably 4, maybe a couple couples, more, maybe larger. I don't know. So
maybe single adults all going.
Sure. Yeah.
Anything.
But some number more than 2.
I got ideas.
Okay.
I can't wait.
So all adults. So that's, adult oriented.
Yeah.
things. Like they're not going to want to go in the kiddie pool, and they're not going to.
No.
Maybe they don't want to go to the aquarium. I don't.
Well, maybe they do. The aquarium's pretty great.
It's great. It is for sure, but
My first piece of advice is pick a time or two now and make reservations at Duke's. It's somewhat hard to get into. And so because you're so far out now, go ahead and just make a reservation or two. You can always cancel it, but think ahead about like, what would that look like? What do I want that to look like? And just make them.
And they're on Open Table, aren't they?
They're on Open Table.
Yeah.
And then I'd also recommend considering doing the same at Hula Grill because that's another favorite.
That was on my list.
Sorry, am I stealing your thing?
No, that's fine.
And then also check out Monkey Pod, but Monkey Pod's less of a priority because they keep up a lot of their reservations they will keep for walk-ups. So they run sort of a different system where they have fewer reservations available so that they can accommodate more walk-ups. Mm-hmm. And it generally, even on a busy week, can only, like if you get there by 6 o'clock, it'll only be 20 to 30 minutes for a wait walk-up at Monkey Pod, which is really reasonable, I feel like.
For sure.
But Hula Grill and Duke's both almost do exclusively reservations in my experience. So it's kind of like Disney in that where like if you don't have the walk up or if you don't have the reservation, you're probably not going to eat there. So go ahead, do yourself a favor and reserve one or both now.
Yeah, and they both of those, or kind of all three, Monkey Pod, Hula Grill, and Duke's, all are going to have pretty good sunset kind of views if you're looking for dinner and around sunset.
And Hula Grill does do a chef's tasting as well. So if it's early, I think it's a 5:30 seating, but it's not a bad value. So if that's something of interest to you, look into that now as well too.
You probably have to call the restaurant.
I think you can still book that on Open Table, but if not, give the restaurant a call because it is worth doing, and you can sit at the counter. You might have to call the restaurant for that one, but check it out and I would do that with a bunch of adults. That would be really fun and tasty, and that gives you enough time to drink at least a couple Mai Tais if you want to do that.
And at Hula Grill, I think I'd recommend, because they used to be included, I think it's like extra now, but get their bread service with the fire water, I think is what they call it, sauce, which is kind of a Thai kind of
chili water
sauce.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Oh, that sounds good right now.
Yeah, no, it's tasty, so we enjoy that. Now, then there's the Maui Brewing Company. So if you want, again, kind of that sunset view, there's the one that's on off of Kaanapali at the Hilton?
Yeah, I think
it was at the Hilton. But if you want to actually get more of their, bunch of random seasonal special beers that they have, go to the one in Kahana, which is not going to have the same view or ambiance, but it's much more like very microbrew pub
and a little
house
cheaper
kind of
too,
and
honestly.
Cheaper,
yeah.
But it's definitely more of a laid back microbrew feel. It just feels like any other microbrew, for better or worse. But they have a lot more flavors and options.
Yeah, definitely. Rent a car. Make sure you rent a car.
Yeah, you're going to want a car up there, I think.
Yeah.
It is one of the things about being up there. You're kind of far from the airport. You're far from, especially with Lahaina, to a large degree being closed, or at least not offering what they once were able to. You're going to probably want to be able to drive.
If you are looking to do some kind of tour out to Molokini, consider checking out the Hula Girl. We have not personally done that, but one of my very best friends, that's like her favorite activity on Maui, is the Hula Girl. And they load directly from the beach in front of
Hula Grill.
Yeah, like kind of in Hula Grill area. And so that's kind of nice. You don't have to drive down to the marina, and more intimate.
Yeah.
It's not a huge boat, and they don't have a ton of people on there. So I would definitely not hesitate to give the recommendation to check them out. We tend to go directly from the beach on most things. Surfing. Anytime I've gone surfing, we've just gone down to the surf shop, and that's down south. But and walked in from there. We talked a lot about the snorkeling.
At the
Honua Kai, definitely get yourself some snorkel equipment and go there.
Again, I'd recommend buying it from the Whalers Village,
if you
or bringing your own.
Or bring your own.
You can rent, but I don't think it's as good a value.
Yeah,
but
it's not. And you don't need it. I mean, if you're just going off the beach, you don't need it to be super high end, unless you're going to make it a lifestyle. Then maybe,
you're planning on going to maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. But I try to think of what other things I would recommend for just adults. Definitely, taking a couple of happy hours. That would be our first thing we would do just as adults. Get out and walk. Like there's a whole path down there that you can just walk in front of all those resorts and see what they have to offer. And
lots of restaurants. Each one has their own restaurant that's, of pretty decent caliber.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to Big Wave Shave Ice.
That's at the resort next door, right?
So one of the Weston properties.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that little hole in the wall shop, which is often the best kind.
Yeah, that's a good one. What else would you do if it was just the two of us going? Like it's almost hard to fathom.
Yeah,
the two of us being in the islands.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a car, and you're kind of already on the north side there. You'd have to check the weather and the stuff, and depending on how adventurous you are, you can drive around the north side of the island.
Yep.
Usually year round. It does get very one lane dirt gravel road for a while. So make sure you're thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
If you're prone to car sickness, might not be a good idea. But there is also I want to say, is there a black sand beach that's up there?
There is.
So that's a ways up there, but it's a cool thing that lots of people do. So just be thoughtful. What would be another? I mean, there's obviously all the kinds of things that are in the middle of the island, and the south side of the island. There's Haleakala.
Yeah.
Doing if you've never done that before, doing the sunrise.
You do have to make reservations for that now. It costs like $1 to make a reservation, but you do have to have a reservation. They won't let you just up. So
and it's pretty cool because you're above the cloud level at the top there. I mean, it takes a long time to drive up to the top, but then you can watch the sun rise through the clouds. It's pretty magical. It's pretty amazing. Like if you've never done it, I'd recommend spending the morning doing that.
Really? It's cool, but I don't know. I sleep so much.
It's cold. It's sometimes
you need
wet
a winter jacket,
and
there's no guarantee. Like the weather could just be garbage, and you just don't. So I guess you could make a reservation and watch the weather.
Yeah.
Like it's a minor commitment in that way, but I don't know. I always tell people the attraction in Maui is the water.
Yeah.
Like people are like, "What do you do there?" I'm like, we go to the beach because
it's true.
The magic is in the water, and you have to spend enough time in it to really experience it, right? Like you might get lucky, and the first time you go in snorkeling, see the sea turtles and see the eels and see every fish, but more likely than not, you're going to have to be out and hang out for a little bit to just take it in and kind of pay attention. Because if you don't sit in it and you don't take the time to sit in it, you miss a lot, right? Like if it becomes a checklist thing, then it's harder to appreciate it. But when you have the time and you can take the time and have it be leisurely, I feel like that's when the magic kind of happens. And that tends to be when we see all the sea turtles. In February,
the dolphins and
February will be whale season, so you'll be a lot of whales.
Yeah, and there are whale watching tours that you can do. But you can see them from the beach.
Yeah,
there's splashes oftentimes. Maybe you'll see the tail, but it's.
And if you do see, I guess not everybody knows this, if you do see whales and dolphins, dive underwater and try to, away from the shore, go under and try to listen, because you can hear them, which is pretty cool too. Like to be able to hear the whales talking or hear the dolphins. It depends on how close they are. And if you have a lot of boats, it's really hard to hear them over that. But we've definitely had success hearing both those things, which is pretty cool. Boy, I don't know why we go to Disney. I just talked about a million things that are really, really cool and cost nothing.
Well, we
we do
be there.
we do that too. Yeah. I know. I just talked myself into booking another vacation.
Oh, boy. Well, we're hopefully gonna spend a day over the holidays up at the Honua area, at least, just to see if we like it at that time of year as well. Since we really liked it in July, see if we like that side of the island in
the winter.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I'm excited about it.
Hopefully, we'll have more to report back at that point, which would be before your trip.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Mostly the food. All that food's so good. Yum. Deliciousness.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's one on the north side. Is there a Maui taco up north on the north side?
There used to be, but there's not anymore.
Yeah.
That's more of a fast foodie.
Yeah.
But it's still good.
Yeah, it's still good. Yeah. But it's kind of not Taco Bell. Also.
Not Taco Bell. But have a great time. And report back. Tell us what you liked the most.
Yeah.
Or if you didn't like it, report that too, because that's important for us to know too.
Yeah.
I will say, like, if you get stuck in weather, just look at the island and try to peek around on the weather app. Probably there's some place that has sunshine. So if something happens, you could always drive to where there's sun or wait an hour.
Yeah, because sometimes it's cold on the north side and it's warm on the south side, vice versa, windy, rain, whatever. Like you can oftentimes drive away from it if you have that car. It might be an hour drive to get to the south side, but it's doable.
It is doable. It sounds so good right now.
And we enjoyed our one trip to Honua, but we do have friends that have been there 2-3 times,
multiple times,
and they keep going because they enjoy it. So it's not just us. So hopefully you also enjoy.
Yeah, we will be repeating that trip. Yeah, it's coming.
All right. Well, those are the topics we had for today, but we of course need to share our magical moments as well.
Yeah, I got to think of one.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, of course, we just had Halloween, and I had talked about, I think it was in the last episode, how I was hoping to have my holiday lights up to be able to do a Halloween show, and I was able to pull together enough to have something. It was not what I usually do, but it was good enough. And I felt very good about it and got lots of compliments and a lot of excited people. And one of my favorite stories is this kid, he was probably, 7 or 8, came up and he said, "I really like your decorations. They're one of my favorite ones in the neighborhood. They're probably number 2.
Oh,
and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, thanks.
And he said, "Well, and the number 1 is the one with the pirate ship." And I was like, "Oh, that's my friend Bob, so I'll take it."
Yeah, I know. That is kind of funny.
But that was my favorite story from Halloween. But yeah, we had over 150 kids come through.
Yeah,
and,
it was really fun.
It was fun. And it was good. I was a little worried. It rained in the morning, but thankfully it was cold, but it was dry. So that's good.
It was a good day. It was a really good day. My magical moment is, well, I booked our pre-night stay for our cruise. My magical moments often have to do with me spending money on our travel. But we're going to stay at Art of Animation again for one night before we go on our cruise. So that'll be really, really interesting. We haven't been there since Annika was about 5.
Yeah.
5 or 6. So they have enough sleep surfaces to handle our family for a night, which will be good.
That's kind of their sweet spot, I think.
It is. And 2 bathrooms, which I also really appreciate.
It's not... I mean, from what I recall, it's nothing fancy. I mean, it's more of a value at a deluxe price or something, but it should be cool, especially, and, they got cool pools and stuff, very kid-oriented.
Kid-friendly, and we'll be able to eat on property. It'll be a win for our family for that night. They have the big
cafeteria and stuff, food
so we won't have to go anywhere. I guess this is a little bit bigger because I chose a Lion King suite because it turns out that our youngest 2 children have not actually seen very many Disney movies. And I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast or not, but I've come to realize, like, we've talked about some of these movies and we were playing Disney trivia and Drew would be like, I've never seen that movie. And I'm like, It's the Lion King. What do you mean you haven't
He's
seen that
like
movie?
the TV shows that came after,
Yeah.
like the Lion Guard and stuff. So he's not like totally ignorant of that world, but
No.
he's not seen the originals, and it's, Annika saw all of them, but
She's seen everything. So now we are working our way back through some of those late 80s, 90s, early 2000s movies, which it's funny because even Emma, like, she's like, I've never seen Beauty and the Beast. And she's like, I'm like, what? She's like, I've only seen it on the cruise ship, which is A, such a bougie thing to say. And then B, like, I realized, oh, you've only seen the stage adaptations of a couple of these things. So I guess we'll have to work on that too. So we're trying to get back through some of the classics, and it's just funny, give a little more context to some of the.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. I really don't know how we got to this place that didn't happen.
I don't know either. We have failed as parents.
Yeah, we have failed. We have failed.
It's okay. There's still time.
We're working on fixing it. And
Yeah.
So that's good.
It's giving us something to do in these winter months.
Yeah. And we watched The Lion King.
They loved it.
And they loved it. They really liked it.
And we did Aladdin.
Aladdin, Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, we've gone through both Wreck-It Ralph movies this weekend, which was a highlight.
Yep.
So it's fun. It's fun to see what they respond to. And it is kind of fun that both of them haven't seen a lot of them. It makes it a little bit more entertaining.
I think some of it was Drew was just too young to watch some of these things, and he and Emma were more, I guess, linked to when we were watching stuff. I think that's just
and then Bluey took over our lives.
Yeah, and then Bluey. Yeah, we've seen every episode of Bluey. I don't know how many times, but we celebrate the entire collection.
It's true.
And it never gets old for the kids.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. They still love it.
So good for Bluey. Good for us. And good for Disney Plus. All right. I think that's everything. We would love to get more listener emails. So you can email us at mouseearsinparadise@gmail.com. And if you want a sticker, we still have some stickers left. So you can, and you know what? Even if we run out, I'm going to buy more. So email us at mouseearsinparadise@gmail.com, put stickers in the subject line, and include your address. That is an important thing, which most people have remembered, but a couple have. I had to respond and say, hey, can you send in? And they're like, oh yeah, that's helpful.
Important.
So please include that, and we'll send those out to you. Yeah, and of course, follow us on social media, especially as the holidays are coming up and we're going to be going to the parks and traveling and stuff. You can follow along on some of our adventures by following us on social media. Our links are at mouseearsinparadise.com. You can find links to all of our social media, ways to subscribe, etc. there. For the most part, we are Mouse Ears in Paradise on most social media, except our classic Twitter /X/ whatever they're calling it this week. It's Paradise Ears because they did not like our super long Gen X name.
Yeah, it's okay. We're old. We don't care. I've embraced the oldness.
So go ahead and follow us there and follow us on our adventures, both in the near future and far. All right. That's everything.
Yay.
Bye.
See you later.
Applause. Applause. We hope you've all enjoyed the show.